Mike in McHenry, Illinois. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Hey, Tom. It's creepy how well you guys can zero in on me with the given the tone of the NSA. But
what do you mean?
I called you about
that we know that you're in McHenry.
Your screener knew exactly my name and exactly where I was from.
Oh, that's because you've called before.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just making a joke, being a little sardonic.
Okay.
Anyway, in terms of the banks and the eminent domain, although I support this on the surface, and I'm with you, somebody's got to do something to step in to stop this flood. However, you being a stage student of American history, if we travel back to the roots of the nation, and we dispel some of these myths about the Civil War and about the American Revolution, and we break it down to the founders instilling capitalism in the United States, because many historians, including Howard Zinn, would agree with the late Howard Zinn, I should say, would agree with that assumption that the Civil War was more or less an attempt to shed the last of the lord and serf system in the United States. With that being said, municipalities and states using eminent domain to act sort of as a firewall between the banksters and the citizens
their
of
citizens.
The nation it carries a very dangerous cost. And I will use Shays Rebellion as an example. When Shays Rebellion happened, and I know you know the meaning of
Shays Rebellion was 200 plus years ago.
It was, Tom. But Shays Rebellion was based in Massachusetts farmers. Shay himself rising up, and there were Revolutionary War veterans who rose up against the banks, who were supported by the Continental Congress, who were foreclosing upon their land. Mm-hmm. So the response to Shays Rebellion was what? It was a constitutional convention, and it was the ominous federal government that we have today that has transgressed from the war on drugs.
So, Mike, is your solution that we do away with our federal government and go back to the Articles of Confederation?
No.
So what are you suggesting we should do?
The exact opposite, Tom. Going back to the Articles of Confederation is almost what this is, because it allows municipalities and it allows states to start crafting their own monetary policy. What this has not worked in the ancient Greek city-states, it did not work with the anarchists in the Italian city-states, and it will not work in the United States. And what's concerning about it is this, because when localities, municipalities, or states start to create their own monetary policy, and I'm not saying it's not a noble effort.
This is not a monetary policy, Mike. They're not defining the amount of currency in circulation. They're not defining the amount. I mean, arguably, they are by writing down debts. You're reducing the amount of money in circulation in general in the whole nation. But it's going to be so small compared to the hundreds of trillions of dollars, literally of dollars, that are circulating worldwide, that it's irrelevant. I mean, this is not monetary policy. This is.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I'm with you on pretty much everything. The danger here that makes me uneasy is that we are autonomously starting to come up with solutions to a much larger problem in the United States.
Well, Congress is not regulating the banksters.
They are not.
This is an absolute failure of Congress, and so cities are stepping up to the plate. There's nothing unconstitutional about that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's unconstitutional. I'm not taking that right way.
There's nothing, I don't think there's anything even dangerous about this. The biggest danger is that, if thousands of cities or hundreds of cities across the United States were to start doing this and do it really aggressively with 60, 70, 80% of the underwater mortgages in their towns, then the banks might be forced to reduce their asset ratio on their balance sheets to the point where they would be insolvent. Some of the very large banks who engage in a lot of risky loan, which is fine with me.
They may be, but my education and my better senses tell me that the federal government will react in a way to protect the banks, as they always have. They are not all of a sudden going to become. They're not all of a sudden going to acquiesce.
I don't think so. I think that Obama was unable to, or maybe unwilling to, fight the banks with regard to the average person. Bush certainly didn't. I mean, Bush twice, 2 tarps, bailed out the banks, and rather than the homeowners who were screwed. And this was all over mortgages. And so now something's being done. I have a feeling he'll sit on the sidelines and watch. But Mike, I've got to move along. Thank you for the call.